Straight out of Compton, original streets. Grew up with the lion, see what the criminals see. Now he a giant and a pivotal key. Got it down to a science, this the visual streets. He came up with Bullet, he came up with Turtle. Live life to the fullest, he put it all in the journal. We dodging them bullets, we jumping them hurdles. It's the Hood Postman, we in the streets universal.
Hood Postman, Professor Ballgame. This is not a glorification or a glamorization. This is an education. You can go anywhere in the world and get a couple of lives, but you come right here to get the truth. Be sure to click the notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below. So when the dope content hit, it'll feel like it's the first and 15th. Lock the door. Professor Ballgame, the Hood Postman. So who I'm with today?
Yes, this is the Ballgame. How y'all doing out there?
I got the Ballgame in the house, folks.
Yes.
Ballgame, I just, every time I get an opportunity to sit with you, I just, things come across my mind, and I think it's important that we get a word for you because you get you can articulate so many things on such a level that a lot of people, they relate to it really well. So I think this is a good time. So my first question, Ballgame, is gang banging nature consistent or is it molded by our culture?
That's a good question, man. I think it's well, it depends on the demographic. I think it is molded into our culture, and that's only because we've molded it into our culture. It's not something that we were doing, let's say back in the 50s, 40s, and 30s, and so kind of, just up until maybe, the late 60s, early 70s, we done molded it into our culture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Great answer. And I think that, you're pretty spot on that. I appreciate that answer. So, 619, right? When you're in the 619, what is that? Do you feel like is it congested based on all the different tribes that are there now? Because years ago, there wasn't so many tribes. It was like kind of spaced out. But as the city has grown, there's more tribes there. What's your thoughts on that?
No, the tribes are the same.
They're the same.
It's the same 10, 11, 12 sets. You dig what I'm saying? What happens is, what has happened is that the population of young brothers that are starting to participate in that particular culture has grown. You know what I'm saying? So, it's, back in the days, when we were doing it, it was only a select few. It wasn't, you had what the West Coast, the brothers out of West Coast, the brothers out of the neighborhood at that particular time had the biggest and I think they had the largest members in those sets, in the early 70s, coming up into the mid 70s, you know what I'm saying? When the 5-9 Brim Central City thing started, we were able to kind of thwart some of those numbers because we were a big neighborhood as well. Small in reference as a set, you know what I'm saying? But our neighborhood extended from 35th to 41st Street and National. So that's that's like almost a 12-mile demographics that we controlled at that particular time.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So, if pressing a button meant you would receive $5 million, but it also would kill 5 people somewhere in the world, would you press it?
You goddamn right. Would you like me to name the 5 that would get lit?
Yeah, I just asking because I know that in our culture, like there's 5 people. There's always 5 people, especially if you come from a gang banging background. Not necessarily you're gang banging because you're a non-active gang member, but right. I'm sure there's 5 people we can all think about.
Well, but let me say this, but my 5 wouldn't be no gang bangers. So.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so my 5 wouldn't be any gang bangers or no brothers from any set because I don't wish death on none of my brothers, man. From the 619 all the way up.
Okay.
Anywhere in Southern California, all the way to Sacramento.
Got it. How are emotions useful in gang banging?
Well, the thing is, emotions has always been actually a detriment when it comes to gang banging because some people don't know how to regulate their emotions. A lot of people act off impulses. So in gang bang, you get a homeboy that get knocked down on the block, a drive-by shooting, somebody pull up and blow his noodles out his head. How do you expect somebody to exercise their emotional intelligence? You know what I'm saying? They don't. They act off impulse. People get upset, and then they basically act off that particular emotions. How does emotions play in the gang bang? Emotions has always played. Emotions have always been really the what's been wrong with gang banging is that people get emotional off of any little thing, then they go out and
they become reactionary.
Yeah, they become reactionary, man, and a lot of those reactions have been negative. Popping, killing, stealing. Take that stealing off, stabbing. People getting killed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so reactionary that innocent people lose their life based on this emotional reaction and outbursts, and a lot of times the guys that even perpetrated the incident are no longer there, and they're just looking to strike back, and sometimes they strike back and it be the wrong people.
Well, one thing that was very unique in my neighborhood is that some of the big homies, a couple of them is gone right now. My homeboy Hardy Smith, Big Brian Jackson still living. My homeboy Big Mad Bob and others. They would always say, check this out, man. Over here in the South Side, we're not doing no drive-by shootings because because we don't want to be responsible for reacting as you say, and then somebody, you're going out there and you're doing a drive-by shooting, and that particular bullet hit somebody that it's not meant for. Nah, my homeboys, they was like, you know what I'm saying, they banned that drive-by shooting concept way back in the days.
At this point, what do you feel that the purpose of gangs are?
There is no purpose in gangs. There is no purpose unless we can get together and start becoming an actual commodity for our neighborhoods. Start giving back. There is no purpose for gangs, man. It was stupid when it started. It was stupid. The actual formation of it was silly when it started back then, and the way those brothers and sisters moved back in those particular days, and it has done nothing but been a detriment to our communities, man. You know what I mean? And I denounce every form of it.
Ballgame, I look at you to be confident, intelligent, and assertive, because you express these things in such an easy way. And when I say easy, is that you articulate it right. But as to your little homies, right? What role do you believe they play today in either increasing the peace or not being a part of the peace? Or can you even answer that? I don't want to put you in the...
No. Some of the little brothers in my neighborhood, I got to give a lot of little brothers in my neighborhood a lot of credit. Them little brothers, they not no punks, but at the same time, they not silly neither. You know what I'm saying? They just don't go out and do silly shit. So a lot of little brothers, up out of the South Side, and some of the other sets in San Diego, that I'm affiliated with, people that I can go talk to. Lincoln Park, some of the young brothers out of West Coast, some of the young brothers out of neighborhood Crip 40, you know what I mean? East Dago, Emerald Hills, wherever, you know what I'm saying? A lot of those young brothers are conscious of what's going on right now. So they just not too quick to react. The only thing is, you got to be aware of these little young brothers, you know what I'm saying? Because they not stupid. You know what I'm saying? And if you step on their big toe, they will peel your cap. My thing is, I try to let these youngsters know that there's consequences behind their actions. You know what I mean? So I always try to teach them, hey, you make sure that you know what you're doing. You think before you react. You dig what I'm saying? Because once you react and something go down, you know what I'm saying, you can't take that back. And one thing about these youngsters, I also tell them is that it's easy to get in trouble. It's hard to get out of trouble.
Lock the door.
Proof of grind all the time, baby.
Yeah. Cali Miners, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products to the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier.